Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Boss Rush Podcast here on BossRushGames.com, Twitch, Mixer, and YouTube, and your favorite podcast service. I am one of your hosts, Corey Deerig. I'm not Eddie V, but I am joined by the wise Wisconsinite, Jesse Douglas.
How's it going, everyone?
Ed's at work, so you're stuck with me and Jesse. So it's, Arsenal X Part 1, I guess. This week. But anyways, Jesse, how you doing? How's it going?
Doing pretty good. Actually got some sleep today. So
Nice.
I think I just woke up about an hour ago.
Nice. I did not get any sleep. Well, I kind of did. I went to bed at like 11, and I was going to sleep in a little bit, and then our cat woke me up at like, I don't know, 6:15 because I usually get up for work at like 5:45 and feed her at 6:15.
Oh, yeah.
And she didn't like that I wasn't up because I've been sleeping in another room because during this whole Corona thing I've still been working.
Yeah.
And like I deal with a lot of people, so I don't really want to, just in case, I just sleep in the other room. Mm-hmm. So I woke up and I got up to pee and I was like, well, I'm up, I guess. So I played some games this morning for about 2 hours. It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. It sucks that I didn't really get to sleep in on Saturday, but yeah.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Got some good game time in though. It was awesome.
It's always good though.
Yeah. So, all right, we actually have a pretty packed show today, so we're going to get into some of this housekeeping. This is Boss Rush Podcast, the flagship podcast of Boss Rush Games. You can download us or stream us on your podcast service of choice. You can subscribe to us on YouTube and join us live every Saturday on Mixer and Twitch at Boss Rush Games Live. I'm reading the thing on the bottom. That's twitch.tv/Boss Rush Games Live and mixer.com/Boss Rush Games Live. You can also join our Facebook group, our Discord, and follow us on Twitter at Boss Rush Games Podcast, or Boss Rush Podcast. Wow, sorry, I'm messing up all kinds of places today. This is a different routine than I'm used to because I'm used to doing Power Block's routine, and it just changed. So, anyways, like, subscribe, and share, rate, and review on your podcast service of choice. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate you telling your friends and your family about us. Maybe people need some new stuff to listen to, so why not us? So this is episode 43. We're approaching episode 50. Jesse, I'm very excited. The big 5-0 of our flagship show. Arsenal X is approaching 100 and Nintendo Power Block's approaching 200, so very, very excited.
Yeah, it will have some good benchmark shows, I'm sure. Like, we can plan something a little bit different for maybe some of those.
We should do a whole episode of Arsenal X from Sea of Thieves, just from
there we go.
We'll just stream episode 100 from the bow of a boat.
Yeah, we could do that. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Oh, just to remind everybody, we have officially started Video Game Book Club here on Boss Rush Games. Our May game is Control. Remember, you can check in on our Discord, on Twitter, and on Facebook with your bookmark on Mondays. Bookmark Mondays is where you check in and discuss the game, how far you are at that point without really spoiling it. Please don't spoil it for others. I know sometimes spoilers are unavoidable, or some people can be jerks, but please be as spoiler free as possible. We will be recording a very special episode of Video Game Book Club on the last Sunday of the month, so play Control with us. It'll be fun. I know Ed's been streaming it a little bit. I think I'm going to stream it a little bit this week. I started a new game, but we'll get into that once we get into what we've been playing. I did start a new game because I kind of forget because it's been so long since I started it and I started playing other things. So, big news this week. Assassin's Creed Valhalla was finally revealed. Finally. Very excited. Awesome trailer. How do you feel about that reveal trailer?
I really liked it a lot. I've been kind of hit and miss on most of the, Assassin's Creeds. I know like everyone had kind of been just talking up, what is it, Origins and stuff like that. And so I had given that a try, and I wasn't really getting into it. And so then, then Odyssey came out, and everyone was talking that up too, and I was just like kind of a little gun shy, because I was like, well, it seems to be getting a lot of talk. But so was the last one, and I really could not get into it. And so I just kind of, I'd put it off and put it off. But recently it was on sale for just so cheap that I couldn't pass it up.
Yeah, I think the gold edition was on sale for something ridiculous, like $23 for all the DLC and everything too, or something.
Yeah, it was something, ridiculously low, and I had a bunch of Microsoft money on my account, so I ended up basically getting it for almost free. But I picked up Odyssey, and I played it, and I found out that what it is it's like anytime the Assassin's Creed games relied too much on the stealth type stuff, I just really couldn't get into it as much, because I don't mind stealth, but it's got to be something that I've got to be in the mood for, and the setting has got to be just right, like Hitman. The Hitman games, I enjoy that, but that's because there's a level of goofiness in it and things like that kind of help it make it not that big of a deal. But with Odyssey, it's more of more Viking, like the new stuff, like the new game just looks more like Odyssey, where it's more about the in your face, battle and stuff like that, and it's not really about being sneaky and all that. So I think I'm gonna like this game, a lot, compared to some of the previous ones. So
yeah, I really like the direction they're taking, right? Like, because when the Rogue collection came out for Switch, which is Black Flag and Rogue, I was playing. I had played Origins and Odyssey back to back, right? Like I really like those games a lot, and it's Black Flag is probably was my favorite Assassin's Creed just from memory. But going back to play it after you play the new ones, it's such a slog. It's such a change of pace, right? It's such a I don't know, man. It's just I used to love those games, but now that they've basically turned into open world RPGs pretty much, I can't go back, and it sucks because I really wanted to go back and play Rogue because I had never played it. It came out the same year that Unity came out, and it came out on 360 and PS3, and Unity came out on PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah.
And it was kind of they put out two games that year, and it was really hard to go back to 360 at the time, especially because backwards compatibility wasn't even a thing for Xbox One yet. And so, they did do the remastered Rogue and 3, which if you get the gold edition of Odyssey, you get 3 remastered for free, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's just really hard to go back to those games. You have to put yourself in a different mindset to go back to those games,
Yeah.
And even the buttons to fight and stuff are different.
Yeah. Honestly, the old Assassin's Creeds versus the new Assassin's Creeds, like the old Hitman versus the new Hitman, it's kind of that same exact thing. It's just you've got one that's more linear, and then you've got one that's open world. Like the old Hitman are more linear, and now the newer ones are open world sandbox, and it's just yeah, they're honestly like two completely different games, like they're just nothing alike, and like for the most part, except for the name, it feels like at this point.
Yeah, and I'll talk a little bit more again about this when we get into what we've been playing, but
Yeah.
I've actually started to play Odyssey again because I had a save on PlayStation 4. My PlayStation 4 is not hooked up. It hasn't been hooked up for a while. And I wanted to go back to it. So I was like, well, I can start fresh and track my achievements and stuff. And I'm almost all back in on it. Like, cause because I've also been playing The Witcher on Switch, and like, it makes me really appreciate Assassin's Creed. Like I like The Witcher and I like the characters and stuff, but it's not exactly the most fun to play. Where Assassin's Creed Odyssey and actually Origins before that, like the characters are cool, the world is cool, and it's fun to play. So like it's been very hard to go back to The Witcher on Switch, but Valhalla. I'm just gonna run down. Game Informer has a very nice list of 25 things that they learned during their interview with Ubisoft. You play as a Viking warrior named Eivor. And you can choose whether Eivor is male or female. I know a lot of people had some concerns about that part, including me, because in Odyssey, in Origins, I really like. It was something I thought about in Origins because I was like, man, Aya is such a cool character. It's too bad you can't play as Aya, which is Bayek's wife, the character you do play as. It was really sad that you couldn't play as her. And then when you move it into Odyssey, you could either play as Alexios or Cassandra, and Cassandra is like makes the game so much better. Alexios is just an intolerable tool bag. Like he's just so intolerable. Because like whatever your character you pick, the other character assumes the other role in the game. So like when you meet, like I don't know who you picked to play as. Did you pick Cassandra or Alexios?
I don't even know if I've gotten to the point yet where you pick, because in the beginning, don't you just kind of
the beginning is you play through the Battle of 300 as Leonidas. And then you go into the modern day stuff for a little bit.
See, I don't think I've gotten to the point of where I pick yet, because like I just started it up, and I, with everything else that we kind of got going on, like like the GamePass show that we're working on and stuff, I just haven't really gotten back to it.
Yeah.
But I do plan on getting back to it more, because like I said, it's just so much better and so much more targeted to my personal likes so far. So, but I probably will change it up and like pick the female, because I tend to a lot of times anyways when that's given as an option. But just because we've been playing as guys most of our life. It's nice when we get the Tomb Raiders and the Hellblades and the like things like that. So
I mean, even for me it goes as way back as Mass Effect, and you start that. So so that's cool that a lot of people were concerned about, because the trailer only shows the male Eivor. So it's nice that they're letting you choose. Customization options let you change Eivor's hair, clothing, war paint, and more. Apparently there's so many customization options in this game that like apparently the probability of two players having the same looking Eivor is like next to none, because there's so many options.
That's what I like to
hear. The game obviously revolves around Norse mythology, but it takes place in Norway and a lot of England, actually, because it takes place in the Vikings' invasion of England. And the three major English cities are London, Winchester, and Jorvik, which is a Viking settlement, I guess. You can dual wield almost any combination of weapon in the game, which is really cool. every piece of gear is unique, and your gear can be upgraded and customized, focusing more on crafting and building up your weapons and armor as opposed to character levels, which was like I think one of the only criticisms of Odyssey was like you leveled up unless you bought the booster or got the booster for free or whatever, the level booster. Like you leveled up. I don't want to say you leveled up slow, but it once you got into like the 20s and level 20s and 30s, like it really became a grind to do those side missions.
Okay.
And you kind of had to do side missions for a while to level up to the proper, mission level. So I'm glad they're taking the focus away from character levels and focusing more on gear and weapons and stuff. You earn new abilities through a system mechanically similar to the skill trees of the other games, which is fine. What you can accomplish is more about gear and skills and not character level. Words the team have used to describe combat include brutal, crunchy, and weighty, which makes sense because like using these heavy axes and crunchy. That's a word to use. The team is putting an extra effort toward enemy variety to keep encounters surprising. You have a longship to use on raids, which is a new mechanic in the game. Your longship has a crew, including warriors you can customize, which is really cool. That actually, this is the Black Flag and Origins team making this game, so that kind of makes sense because in Black Flag specifically, you had a ship and a crew, and you sent your crew members out to do kind of like side missions for you to gather resources, take over points, and that was kind of a point in the game that they had you do. So, your clan and others you recruit live in your settlement, which is another thing they're bringing back from. I think Brotherhood was kind of the major one that they did, but the Ezio trilogy kind of had you build up a settlement, and your settlement kind of gave you different abilities depending on what you put your points into. Okay. So it seems like they're going to have a more kind of fleshed out version of that, which is really cool. Okay. The hidden ones and Order of the Ancients are in the game, which are the orders that become the Assassins and the Templars. At some point, Eivor meets the Assassins, works alongside them, and uses a hidden blade, which we saw in the trailer, which was really cool. I wasn't expecting it because it's been so long since the hidden blade was even a thing, because it wasn't an Odyssey at all. You use Leonidas' spear, and in Origins, you very rarely use it. And so it's been almost 3 years since you've even seen it. So, King Alfred of Wessex, later known as Alfred the Great, is an antagonist figure. Layla's story in the present day continues, which is the new people who maybe skipped Origins and Odyssey and played the older games. She's basically taking Desmond's place in the story. So, Ubisoft Montreal is leading development on Valhalla, which I mentioned earlier, were Origins and Black Flag team. 12 other Ubisoft studios are supporting the development. Valhalla is a cross-gen game coming to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X alongside the current gen platforms, and will be released 2020 holiday season. No shame in giving the Series X a hard promotion in that trailer.
No, like, I think that's the thing is, like, maybe they just noticed that there's a lot of people who are kind of worrying that the next gen consoles aren't gonna really be that much of a payoff right now. But I don't know. I still think that all the things that the next gen are offering that will basically be put into these games that you're not going to be able to experience on this gen is going to be worth it regardless. Because the thing is whenever a console comes out, even years after the console, that next gen console is finally like the only console that they're building games for, they still never truly make games like to their full potential until towards the end. It feels like of, like, or mid to late generation of that new console. So, like, honestly, like, I don't really get the people who are getting so upset about it, because in reality, you're not going to see the hardware being used to its potential right away anyways. So you're still going to end up waiting either way. So they might as well just make a version of that game that can run on the old consoles as well. Like, it's just, like, when you think about money, like making money, it just makes sense, because if you limit your game to only the new console, forcing everyone to have to pay, $500 in order to be able to play your new game, there's a lot of money you're leaving on the table,
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense for everyone. And I guarantee Sony's going to do the same thing, where some of their games are going to still be coming out for the old console as well. I know a lot of people think that they're just going to completely cut the PS4 off, but I just don't see that happening.
Yeah.
And if they do, oh well, those games most likely aren't going to get the sales that they're known for,
Yeah.
right now.
I mean, that's how consoles used to do it, though. I mean, like, that's not.
Yeah.
It's not any different than people are kind of mad that they're going to leave if they leave consoles behind, but it's literally how we've lived since the 80s, Like,
yeah.
It's just, your console's going to get put in a cabinet somewhere and be busted out 20 years from now, and you're like, oh yeah, remember that? And then you find out it doesn't work, and you're like, oh, okay, well, that sucks.
Yeah. But like that, yeah, I'm glad though that they're gonna hopefully do some things and make it look much better for the next gen, which is fine.
Yeah. Also,
because
confirmed. Speaking on that is Xbox Smart Delivery for Valhalla. So if you if you can't get an Xbox Series X at launch, you can buy Valhalla on your Xbox One, and you'll already have it on Series X when you finally make the move. So, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very. This is now the most anticipated game of the year for me. Unless Zelda comes out, but still. Yeah. So, anyways, let us know what you think. We're trying something different here a little bit on YouTube. The whole podcast will still be available in video form, but we are actually going to try to snip at some of the most important parts of the podcast out and let you watch. So let us know what you think of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Remember to like, subscribe, and share to our YouTube page if you are watching this video. Very, very excited for Assassin's Creed. All right, Jesse, let's move along here. Story that was kind of happening the last couple weeks was The Last of Us 2 has been publicly leaked online, parts of it, pre-launch footage. Sony's kind of released a statement saying this does not represent the game, the final product, but how much are you going to change in the next, till July to be, in a game that's been in, production for how long now? 5 years, 6 years? So
yeah,
it's just sad. I'm not a huge fan of The Last of Us personally, but you never want to see something that people have been working on so hard to be just diminished like this, and it sucks. This happens more often than not anymore, and it's just sad to see this stuff happen.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, like like the thing is like, and I kind of talked with Ed about this a little bit in our chat or whatever, like, so like, off the record or whatever you want to call it, but like, like I understand there's some people that are upset, and rightfully so, with with some of the ways that Naughty Dog is handling things as far as, work, how, the work stuff that's going on and all that. And I get being upset, but like, and I don't, I guess we don't have any confirmation as to, if that's why this was leaked, even, if it was just someone who was upset about, the way things are going and stuff like that. But, like there's a right and a wrong way to be upset and, and voice your opinion or bring up something, and to do something like this just really does not, there's no situation that calls for something like this,
Yeah.
It's really disappointing. Like you, I personally, I don't really have any interest in the that franchise, but it's, like I understand as a gamer that it really is just crappy that someone would even think about doing something like that, and just wrecking it for everyone.
Yeah.
Or trying to,
Yeah. It definitely sucks, for sure. Especially because, like, this, I mean, regardless of what we think of it, this is definitely one of the most anticipated game of the year for a lot of people. And to be kind of like PlayStation 4's swan song, to I mean, Ghost of Tsushima is still coming out a month later, but this is going to be considered widely probably as PlayStation 4's swan song, and the fact that it gets leaked and people are ruining it for people, it's terrible. Following the unauthorized release of extensive Last of Us Part 2 footage on the internet earlier this week, Sony says it has identified the persons responsible. Video footage showing cutscenes and gameplay, including several pivotal sequences, appeared on YouTube and Reddit over the weekend. And while Sony was quick to move, pulling the offending material, citing copyright concerns, the damage was already done. In a statement released on Monday, Sony said it was disappointed that anyone would release unauthorized pre-launch footage of The Last of Us Part 2, disrupt years of Naughty Dog's hard work, and ruin the experience of fans worldwide. And asked that viewing or sharing of the unauthorized footage be avoided. Developer Naughty Dog shared a similar statement, calling the incident incredibly difficult and asking that fans avoid spoilers, spoiling the story for others. So there's a much longer article on Eurogamer. I just wanted to read that statement. So yeah, it seems to be just a mess. It's just not not a great situation. I feel really bad for Naughty Dog and PlayStation in general. So it just sucks when things get leaked. So don't be that guy, guys. Don't be that guy. It's just, not a good look for anybody. So.
And honestly, like, I know, like, for me anyways, it's really like, I find it really easy to ignore like spoiler stuff.
Yeah.
Just because, like, like, if there's certain things that I'm interested in and I don't want to learn too much more about, you just stay away from anything that's dealing with that topic in general, like, other than, like, you're going to have shows doing like what we're doing where we're talking about, the situation. But, most shows I would be certain would not, like, say, oh, like this and this was in this thing. And, like, while talking about the situation, I think most people would be smart enough to not do that, but it's
yeah, it's just lame. So
it's really disappointing.
Yeah. So there wasn't really too much other news. There was a rumor that a Nintendo Direct was not happening in June, which is, suck, but there's not really a lot of other things to talk about at this moment.
Yeah, because I know, like, yeah, because like Sony has still been pretty silent. There was like a while back, there supposedly had been plans for Sony to to reveal the console in this month, but that had been canceled or rescheduled.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sony hasn't really been, doing much planning lately, and yeah, Nintendo is kind of, I feel like they're kind of trying to see what everyone else is doing, so they're not like trying to drop stuff out when everyone else is doing stuff. I feel like that's what's happening is people are trying to, not compete with one another, get stuff out but not have to compete.
Yeah.
Because it's different for E3 when people are sitting down for that day. They say, "Hey, today is E3. I'm going to consume all of the stuff that's coming out today." And so it doesn't matter because people aren't really competing. They're picking a day where you're going to see this, this, and this day, and then tomorrow you'll see this, this, and this.
Yep.
And so when it's not all being organized for you, it's hard to, like plan what you want to do and still know what everyone else is doing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I get it. It's kind of, it's a little bit of a jumbled mess, but honestly, I feel like as far as Xbox goes, they're doing a really good job of just getting stuff out and talking about things, and got some really good
Yeah, you want
prime
to
time news stuff.
Yeah, you want to talk about that real quick? Phil Spencer, like you said, went on CNBC to talk about Series X and stuff. He says they are uniquely positioned in a competitive landscape, which is, we've been talking about how it's kind of like a perfect storm for Xbox right now, where
Yeah.
they're being really aggressive. They've got GamePass. They've got a bunch of studios working on new games. They've got, Halo Infinite and Hellblade and Gears 5 ready for launch of the Series X. Like having not only cross-gen crossplay, but crossplay with PC and crossplay with Steam and crossplay with other consoles on third-party games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the one of the things that he really focuses on in that interview is, a lot of stuff that Nintendo has kind of been doing for years. And, like Xbox, this new Xbox, with them kind of being very friendly with Nintendo, I feel like, like a lot of this kid-friendly stuff, Xbox that we're seeing more and more of every day is, can pay a lot of tribute to the way that Nintendo has done things, because Nintendo has the app that you can download where you can adjust how much time your kids can play. You can adjust the content, like what kind of content your kids can play, and monitor, the stuff on the Switch. And now Xbox has all of those things as well. Yeah. And, and really that's ultimately what this CNBC, interview was mostly about, was really selling their console to parents. When we're in a time right now where so many more people are online, including kids.
Yeah.
That he wants to make sure that these people who don't know a lot about gaming, that if they do have an Xbox, and they are worried about the things that their kids are playing or doing, that this stuff is there and available for parents to be able to monitor that stuff. So, man, like Xbox on all levels has just been killing it lately. They've just really taken advantage of any kind of silence from anyone else that's kind of been going on and just running with everything that they can, and keeping people informed. But
yeah.
But yeah, that CNBC interview that's a pretty nice chunk of free commercial,
Yeah.
for your product because yeah.
I mean, we'll talk a lot more about this on Arsenal X this week,
Yeah.
but this is just Phil Spencer he's a gem. All right, so we're gonna get into our questions here. We have 2 questions from the audience. Remember, you can email the show at bossrushgamespro@gmail.com or tweet at bossrushpodcast on Saturdays to get your question read on air, or you can join us in the chat and ask a question there. Let's get into these questions, Jesse. Our first question comes from Megan Green, longtime fan of ours. Very happy to have her back in the mix. She asks, if you were stuck in quarantine for another year, what 3 franchises would you play? No other games or franchises would be available to you for another year, but any upcoming games in the series would be. Go. Okay, so, I mean, well, man, this is tough. I know, well, Zelda and Assassin's Creed are at the top for me.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it would be something social, something more social, like.
Mm-hmm. Now think about what's coming in the very near future. That would be within a year.
I know. I'm trying to pick between Halo and Destiny, or the 2 games, because there's a Destiny expansion coming out in September, October. It's just every year, like clockwork. But Halo also has Halo Infinite this year, and I love playing some Halo from time to time. So, oh man, I guess Halo.
Do you need time to think about? Because I have the 3 like right off the bat.
Go ahead. 3.
Okay. So yeah, for me, it would definitely be Halo for the multiplayer. My first person shooting stuff. And all that kind of, and with Infinite coming out, so definitely Halo. Saints Row, the Saints Row franchise for sure. That would be good for my humorous open world, GTA style stuff. And we've got the remaster of 3 coming out, and that's got co-op, so I can play that with friends if I choose as well. And then my third one obviously would be like Resident Evil, because I haven't finished 3 yet, but like that seems to be a franchise that we're going to be seeing more of in the coming year or so.
Yeah.
So those 3, and Resident Evil is just Resident Evil 2 remastered and the original were like seriously one of my favorite, like my number 1 game of all time. So I can't not pick that franchise.
Yeah. Oh no. Hey, man, it's between Halo and Destiny. I don't know. I don't know, man. Destiny. I guess I'll go with Destiny.
Okay.
There's still so much in that game to do, and just the things you could chase and hunt down in a year, and the updates and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably be my pick. So, yeah, Destiny's gonna be my pick. Yeah. All right. Our next question comes from at Caveboy on Twitter. He asks, "Have you heard of Koi Unleashed? It's a new boss rush game on Steam. Thought it might be a game you want to check out." I've never heard of Koi Unleashed. We should probably do some research on that game.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we get stuff. I think people think that we sometimes people think that we fight, like go in and do boss fights on games, and that's what we talk about sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So I guess that makes sense considering we're called Boss Rush Games, but
yeah. well, in isn't there technically a Boss Rush game? Isn't Boss Rush Games an actual, like, isn't there a developer named that?
I don't know,
I th-
honestly.
I think there I thought there was I think there's our Boss Rush. I don't know.
I don't
I
know, but
thought
this game looks really cool actually now that I'm looking at it. It's Koi Unleashed is an action RPG with party-based combat inspired by Japanese folklore. Join the guild as it just set foot on an unknown world filled with mysterious creatures. It came out three days ago. This looks like a game that'll come to Switch at some point. It looks cool though.
yeah, what okay, hold on.
Yeah,
I was looking something else up, but I here.
yeah. This game
What is
looks
it? What is it called again? Sorry.
Koi Unleashed, like koi fish, KOI.
Oh, okay.
It looks really cool. It's like a isometric action RPG. It looks kind of like Pillars of Eternity or Divinity Original Sin 2, kind of, but set in Japanese folklore.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Ray hasn't checked this out at some point. Yeah, it
And
looks
who
cool.
knows? He may have.
Yeah,
He may have.
You know, you. uh, it looks cool. Yeah, the trailer was cool. The screenshot, like, it definitely has like a Japanese Diablo vibe to it too.
Yeah.
I guess that would be more of an action isometric action RPG. Would be more like Diablo or Torchlight. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's is it? Yeah. It's obviously it's probably PC only.
Yeah,
Which who knows? That might change eventually.
yeah. By the way, welcome to the stream, everybody. I know you guys are in the chat. BCAV is on YouTube. Welcome. Back Cargo is on Mixer, and Jolly Jester YT is on Twitch. So welcome to the stream. Just wanted to shout out to people who are watching and commenting and stuff. All right, Jesse, let's get into what we've been playing.
All right.
You can go first. I've been playing quite a bit of interesting games, actually. Very excited to talk about two of them. So,
Yeah. If you okay. Like, as far as gaming this week goes, I've had some some little sit down things where I played a few little things here and there. Uh, I'll get more into the stuff that we've been playing for our Game Pass stuff in in that show. But I had picked Deliver Us the Moon, and you had picked the what is it, what is it called again? Very reliable delivery service or something like that.
super reliable delivery service.
Yeah. It's such a long name.
I know it's a terrible name, but it's such a funny game.
Yeah. And so like, I'll get more into those obviously on that, but I'll just say that I've enjoyed both of them for their very like specific reasons. Each has their own unique thing that I enjoyed about it. But yeah, then I did finish World War II, Call of Duty World War II, the campaign for my backlog challenge. And dude, that campaign is probably seriously one of my favorite, like, Call of Duty campaigns.
That's awesome.
I think I like it better than Modern Warfare's.
Really?
Yeah, like, it's like the new Modern Warfare's is really, really good. It's pretty darn close because, like, I like how the new Modern Warfare kind of, like, really does a good job of mixing all different things and kind of putting you in different situations.
Yeah.
But yet it's still a very somewhat linear, like storyline that you're kind of living through. But at the same time, I really like the World War II one because, like, you get to do some driving in it. In the, like, there's parts where you drive, and there's parts where you get to fly in planes, and you've got to protect these bombers while you're in these planes, and you're trying to, dogfight and take out the bad guys who are trying to blow up your bombers that are en route to a place that you need to bomb, to help out because they do this really cool thing where you're playing as a group who's, boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And then once you get to a certain point in the story, you kind of end that part of it, and then it zooms out to a map, and then it goes over to here where this battle is happening, and it's like, these people that you were just playing as are contacting these new people, this new group of people on the radio, and are calling in for an airstrike. And so for the airstrike, in order for that to be able to happen, you've got to be able to, in your dogfighting planes, you've got to try to protect those bombers so they can make it to that destination. And like, they just do some really cool stuff where you're kind of going from playing as boots on the ground to dog fighting, or you're driving to this place and trying to take this out, or they kind of really do a good job of mixing things up a bit, and really getting to experience a story from multiple different sides of that story. Like, it's not, because too many times in a game, you'll be like, oh, I need help over here with this and that, and then they'll do an airstrike or something, but you're not getting to see what helped make it possible for those people that are doing the air. It's kind of like why I loved, like, out of all the new Star Wars movies, I love Rogue One probably still the most.
Yeah.
Because you're getting to see this whole chunk of what had to happen in order for, the main, characters to be able to be the heroes. Like,
yeah,
they were heroes kind of, but really it's all these people that sacrifice their lives to get that information, so the Death Star could be destroyed.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like that's the kind of the way that why I really like this the World War II campaign so much, is you're getting to see other parts of this big machine, this big machine that are helping, our side, prevail in this war against the Nazis. So,
nice.
And there's definitely some very, disturbing, it's dealing with possibly one of the worst, wars or war experiences, that people have had to go through. But yeah, like, they do, there's certain things about all that stuff that they kind of touch on. Like, at one point you're walking through, like, concentration camps and people just laying around dead, and like, just certain things like that. So I mean, there's some real experiences in that game, but like, they do such a good job of just kind of really mixing all this stuff together. And like, if you haven't played that campaign, I honestly, like, suggest that people give that campaign a shot. Like, I've always been, like, really, really, slow to getting to campaigns, or if, even getting to them at all on Call of Duty games.
Yeah.
And like a lot of my campaign experiences with Call of Duty have really changed that. And I honestly do think I'm going to be paying much more attention to those campaigns now when these new Call of Duty games come out. You know, as long as they do have a campaign for you to play, I probably will now and give it a shot because, like, like this game really has pushed that motivation even further.
Yeah. Are you gonna get the Modern Warfare 2 remastered campaign?
I am still on the fence with it because I do want to, and I probably should, but at the same time, I just trying to save some money right now.
Yeah,
and like I've just been kind of thinking like, do I really need to get this? Because I do have the original, already. I can play this campaign right now. Sure, it's not going to look as great, but I still can experience it.
yeah.
So is it really worth me, buy? I think what's going to happen, it's probably something I will buy, but it's going to be later down the road.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of waiting right now because, like I had to get I had picked up some new Joy-Cons, which I really desperately wanted to get because my original Joy-Cons are like they don't really clip into place on the Switch, anymore.
I'm almost there.
Yeah, so and I wanted to be able to play as a family without having to, leave people out if we want to play like Mario Kart or whatever. I don't want to have to rely on like in the past or in the future, like friends having to bring controllers over or whatever. So,
yeah.
So, like we're doing more gaming as a family, honestly. So it made sense and I could justify spending that money. So,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad like I have 4 Joy-Cons. Like I have a blue set and I have the gray set, the launch gray set. And they both are starting to like not stay in the Switch, But like the other day, I think I talked about this on Nintendo Pal Block this week, but my nephew's birthday was last Saturday, right after we recorded. Last Saturday, we had him over for he turned 7 and he got a Switch for his birthday, and they wanted to play some family games here because they wanted to know what games to get him because they're like normal people. They don't do the things that we do with games. So they got him Minecraft and Mario Kart, but they wanted to get him like, 1 or 2 more games. So we played a 10-round match of Mario Party and we had all 4 people playing because I had 4 Joy-Cons and it was awesome. I lost though. So
yeah,
it's Mario Party. I don't know. They gave me a star for being in last place the whole game. So we'll just put it there.
That.
Yeah. But it was really fun to have a lot of Joy-Cons together and play together. Yeah. It was really fun. So
now the only thing I need to get is the little controller thing where you can slide them in to make it into a controller.
Yeah.
Because I still want to be able to do that because then we would at least have 3 like full size controllers if only 3 of us want to play with a bigger controller and not just the little Joy-Cons that
Yeah. But I still from when Ed came and visited me like 2 years ago, I still have his Joy-Con grip in my drawer. So it's here whenever he comes back, he can just have it back, but it's still here. I remind him once in a while. I'm like, hey, your Joy-Con thing's still here. I guess I could mail it to him, but that requires me to leave the house. And well,
I've thought about. I'm like honestly thinking about getting one of those ones that people have made that with a screen or with a 3D printer that like like make it more ergonomic or whatever to make it like
The
feel
angled
better in
ones,
your
yeah.
hand. Yeah, yeah. I've thought about getting one of those instead, but
Yeah.
I don't know yet. I'm not too worried about that right now. 'Cause
That's fair.
I'm been thinking about my headphones here that I use. I just got them, but my kids have been beating them up really bad, so I might have to actually drop some money on some new headphones that they won't be able to touch.
Everybody's been talking about Steel Series. Like Insipid Ghost has been
Yeah,
talking about his Steel Series on Twitter, and I'm thinking about it, but they're so expensive. And like,
yeah,
I mean, if like I would like to get an Elite 2 and a good headset before the Series X comes out,
yeah,
but I don't know. I mean, this is just not the right time. Even though my wife and I like with between like our tax return and like the weird unemployment stuff that's happening right now, and
yeah,
our stimulus check that's coming, like we're like, what do we do with all this money?
yeah,
Like it's just like this really weird position we've literally never been in before.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
and like I don't know, it's just weird.
yeah,
we but we're trying to be like, well, with all like the stimulus stuff and this unemployment stuff, we might not owe, but we might not get a tax return next year because of all this. So we're trying to like save it
yeah,
all.
yeah. Yeah, like what and I had talked about this. I basically just threw the money that we had, we kind of threw in our savings, and I put my portion into my charge card that I owe owe some money on, and try to dig myself a little bit more out of the debt stuff that I have, but which I mean it could be way worse. Like my debt is not nowhere near as bad as you hear some people that are like in 30, 40 grand in debt or whatever. That
Yeah.
I just, man, I could not imagine. I'm stressed with the like 3,000 or whatever that I that I have on my card that I need to pay off yet. So yeah. I could not imagine being that far in debt, but
Yeah.
but unfortunately that's something that people deal with, and then with all this going on, man, it's not fun to think about. And really just, like with everything going on, I really hope that that people are able to figure something out. And because honestly, like, yeah, like when you're still working, that stimulus check is pretty nice, but imagine the people who haven't been working, and then they get that and they're like, this is all okay, well, this pays for one of the months
Yeah.
of just for mortgage maybe.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's or together, if there's two of you, then that would pay for 2 months. But like, if you figure in all the other things people could be paying for,
Yeah.
that could be to both of your stimulus checks could maybe take care of 1 month, and that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a good time to be thinking about spending money, no, regardless of who you are.
Yeah. I'm like, even because like, I mean, there's not really any games that I really want to buy in the next,
Yeah.
3 to 5 months, but except for like Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition for Switch. And I'm like, do I even get that at this point? Because it's just like,
Yeah.
like I had enough Microsoft points from the Game Pass Quest stuff. I've been
Yeah.
dipping my toes in that, and I had enough for like a $10
Yeah.
card, so I got some stuff that was on sale, but it was just kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't even know what I should be, not buying at this point, and like I'm waiting for sales and stuff if I want to get stuff, and like, and the eShop has had some good sales, but it's just like, I don't know. I can't spend the money, and that's why I've been going back to a lot of older games, recently. Plus, like, that was kind of my goal for the year anyway, was to finish games before the new consoles come out, because I'm going to be playing, Halo Infinite and Valhalla when it comes out. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it's a weird time.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely is a time to, just be like, like I was gonna say to you, like you were talking about wanting to get, like possibly get some new headphones before the new Xbox comes out. I think like part of me wants to wait because, with all this, well, I think for me, I may already know what I would like to be looking for in headphones if I do get some. I want to make sure that they're Dolby Atmos support Dolby Atmos. Because I think those should be in theory future proofed with the next console, because I do believe the next console will have Dolby Atmos in it as well. But there's also, this 3D audio stuff that Microsoft is working on. So I don't know if they're going to be using Dolby Atmos to kind of help translate that new stuff that they're doing for headphones. And then, obviously if you have the 7.1 or a 5.1 surround sound, now you can get sound bars that do 7.1 surround sound without having to have 7 speakers in a subwoofer. You can do 5.1 without having to have 5 speakers in a subwoofer. Like there's better ways now to be able to do things with a much smaller footprint.
Yeah.
But I think, because I'm seriously thinking about getting something that just supports Dolby Atmos, and there's a lot of different price ranges that support it. So that's the nice thing, and just because I would be able to take full advantage of that now, because I spent the like $11 or whatever it costed to upgrade the 2 Dolby Atmos on the One X, because unfortunately that was something you had to pay for to do.
Yeah.
But it's honestly, it's been worth it for me. But,
Yeah, it seems like, it's the Steel Series. It's the $200 set, but it seems like it's compatible with Dolby Atmos, and it's got 7.1 surround and Bluetooth. Has a 20-hour battery life, connects right to your Xbox. Via Bluetooth, like an Xbox controller. So, that seems like the one to go with if you're going to get one. But again, it says pay, $33 for 6 months on your Amazon store card, which I have. So, $33 for 6 months is not a big deal, but still. So, but anyways, what else? Have you been playing anything else?
I did play a couple things on Switch. I can't remember. I know what game I played, but I can't remember the full name of it. It's the Omega something. I can't remember the name of it now. I was gonna write it down and I completely forgot to. But it was mostly my son was playing it, and then I was kind of helping him out. But I forget what it's. Let me see if I can find it really quick.
Omega Labyrinth? Omega Strike?
Strike, yeah. Omega Strike. That's what I thought it was, but I was like, I can't remember. That's what I was just about to type in.
Oh,
yeah.
I hope he's not playing Omega Labyrinth Life on Switch. That seems to be like one of those anime sexy time games. So
yeah, it sounds like it. But no, yeah, he was playing that Omega Strike, and I was playing that with him a little bit and helping him out, because I want to say I'm pretty close to maybe finishing that game. I'm not sure. Because I put quite some time in it over the months since I've gotten it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Omega Strike. If you haven't played it, and you like the Contra type, Contra slash, like Metroid type kind of games, they it's definitely a fun game. Like I love how you switch through the three different main characters, and each character has their own strengths and weaknesses. So you've got to constantly switch through them to progress. But it's honestly, it's a really, really fun game, and it's really not that expensive either. I think it's pretty cheap. I don't remember how much. I got it on sale. I think it's like one of those games that's only like $19.99 or something like that on Switch. But yeah, if you like those kind of like like Metroidvania kind of, I'd say it's more like a Metroid, or more like a like because it's more shooter based, so I don't really consider it a Vania, a Metroidvania. I'd say it's more it's more shooter based. So there's not really much else to it other than that. But yeah, it's definitely a fun game, and like there's some fun little comedy stuff to it, and things like the humor and stuff like that with it as well, for some of the cutscene stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I've been playing that a little bit, and I do want to get back to Mario Maker 2 and experience the new stuff that they've added, because I haven't gotten a chance to do that yet.
Yeah, I would like to do that too, but realistically, I probably won't.
And I still need to download Streets of Rage 4, because I've been hearing nothing but great things.
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
We should.
Yeah, so I gotta download that.
We should play that tomorrow after Arsenal X. We should play some co-op on Arsenal after the after show or whatever.
Yeah, because I heard unfortunately it's only 2-player co-op, but for me and you, that's all we would need. But
yeah,
it is kind of a bummer that it wasn't 4-player. I wish they would have made it 4-player.
I think it's 4-player couch co-op, but it's only 2-player online, which is weird.
Yeah,
but small team, I guess I understand. You're lucky it has online co-op at all. So
exactly.
Yeah. Well, Jesse, I've been playing a few games. I've got back into Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Speaking of games I wanted to get back into, I've been playing it on my lunch break at work. I've been taking the Switch to work and playing it on lunch, and I really forgot how awesome that game was. It's like it's definitely light XCOM-y. Like it's just very, very light. It's kind of baby's first tactics game, but it doesn't have like all the customization and all the crazy stuff that XCOM and Gears Tactics have. But it's fun, man, and just kind of plowing through it, and I would like to finish it, because I still feel like a sequel is coming in the next year or so. Like maybe next year. I don't see it coming this year, especially if that 30th anniversary stuff is happening, because 6 Mario games? That's a lot of Mario in one year that I think they'd want to spread it out a little bit. But I've been playing that. I forgot how funny stuff was, because like there's literally a giant toilet with rabbits swimming in it. It's just so funny.
That game is so amazing. And if you want like the nice thing that I liked about it is like the storyline, the regular beats of the game are very, very doable, and very, very like they have their challenges, but at the same time it's not like overly challenging. But man, if you try some of those side mission stuff after you finish the game,
Yeah.
some of those, man, are like, I do not know how to beat them. They're just like super hard. Like it's like if the regular storyline game is 0 and like those are like 100. It's like going from the regular game, the regular storyline to playing those side missions. Some of them are intense and insane. I just don't. I think it's you really got to know like what kind of moves and things to combined or to go with to really figure out how to beat those. Like, yeah, because man, some of those were just really, really hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the difficulty spike, I know, happens kind of like, a third of the way through the game. It starts getting, like, pretty difficult, but...
Yeah, I mean, the difficulty spike is definitely there, but it's not super intense. Like, it's still, like I said, it's still very, very doable, regardless of like, cause like with me, like I'm not used to those kind of games.
Yeah.
So like, like it was a little challenging at times, but it still really did not challenge me nowhere near as much as those side mission stuff after the game is done does, man. That stuff is just intense.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been making my way through that. I played a little bit more of The Witcher on Switch earlier this week. I've been doing the Witches of Crookback Bog in that game,
Okay.
and it's I'm kind of like, I'm not confused on where to go, but it's kind of like sometimes the map stuff in that game is kind of difficult to understand where you're supposed to be. Like, are you supposed to be underground at this point? Are you supposed to be like, and it kind of gives you like some of the missions where they want you to like find stuff. They give you this large yellow circle that you're just supposed to look around in.
Yeah.
And like, they don't do a good job of like narrowing it down when you're close or anything. So like, I'm kind of in one of those spots, and I just kind of like saved it and went to bed because I was like, I don't really feel like walking around this yellow circle for 20 minutes. And then I started playing Gears Tactics, and I played the kind of the first mission. Those missions are long. Like, I think the first mission took me probably like 20 minutes at least.
Yeah.
And it was just like a tutorial mission. Like, it's intense and a little bit overwhelming. Because like after you beat the mission, you can go into like just in general, you can go in and like customize your gears. And this is kind of how we did an expansion pass on this a long time ago, on how we want gears to change and kind of allow you to customize your guns and stuff. And like maybe you can get armor that has like +2 defense, but maybe you walk slower or something. This game does that. You can find attachments for your guns. You can find, things that make it shoot faster, shoot farther. You can customize your armor. You can customize the way your character looks down to like, oh, I want this weird looking helmet instead of a Gears helmet. I want, a leather vest or like a cog armor. Dude, there's so many different variations and customization. Like, it's almost overwhelming how deep the customization goes. And you can like, there's a couple named characters in the game, but everybody else is kind of disposable, right? And if you have GamePass Ultimate, by the way, you get Thrashball Cole, which adds absolutely nothing to the story. He just looks really cool to add to your party. Like, he's not part of the story or anything. He's not part of cutscenes or anything. He's just cool looking. And like, there's so many different, there's classes, there's there's just all different types of crazy things going on in this game, to where like I would like one night just to play this game for like 4 or 5 hours just to learn the the tiny aspects of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It feels so much like Gears.
Mm-hmm.
It translates so well to the tactics genre. You know, the flank, like being able to flank your enemies, being able to use different weapons, and you know, the mulchers and the mortars and everything. Like all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff is just so cool to see in a tactics game, and it takes place. It takes place right at Emergence Day, so I think in the Gears timeline, this is the very first game in the
Mm-hmm.
timeline. I think it happens like 3 years before Judgment happens.
Yeah.
So if you have Game Pass on PC and you have a PC that can run and that can handle it, and it can run pretty decently on medium powered machines too. Like I was looking through the options. I can run this at this game at 4K 60 on the computer I have now, and it runs fine. I have it at 1440p uncapped, so we'll see how that runs. But it's such a cool looking game, and it ties. There's a lot of ties directly into the new trilogy as well.
Mm-hmm.
You play as Kate's dad,
Yeah.
Gabe Diaz, and he's a pretty interesting character. He was like a just you know and light spoilers for the beginning of the game, I guess, and you kind of like find out more about him as you play it. But he's like he at one point he was like the premier soldier, right? Like he was the
Mm-hmm.
poster child for the Cog army against in the Pendulum Wars against the IR, which is like their version of like the Russian communist USSR from the 80s or whatever. And
Yeah.
he was like the poster child. He was he was working his way up. He was going to be like a commander, and at one point he just says he's done being the poster child, and he goes and joins like this ragtag crew. And then Emergence Day happens, and you kind of pick up. They don't even know what the Locusts are called yet, which is
Yeah.
crazy. That's how early this game is.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool. And like I was telling you, the very first level is if anybody played Gears 4, like it's the level where you kind of make your way through the CIC building, which is the big domed building after the windstorm in Gears 4.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to make your way into it, and it's just really cool to see kind of like pre-destroyed Sarah making your way around the planet. It's cool. It's really
Yeah.
cool. I can't wait till it comes to Xbox because I will probably play it more there, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not really. Every time I try to play a game on PC, like I'm running it on a high end Mac that I have Boot Camp set up in. But every time I play a game and I go to restart it in Mac mode to edit stuff, I always have to power the computer off and turn it back on for some reason.
Okay.
So I don't know. I would. It has full controller support too. So
Yeah.
I really don't know why it's not on Xbox yet, except for the fact that I think they just want to optimize it for a lower powered machine. But it seems pretty optimized for medium powered machines anyway. So
Yeah.
I maybe they're just polishing. I don't know.
I think it's just they wanted to make a statement as they like because the whole thing with them with Microsoft and getting some of that good favor from PC players. A lot of PC players felt really gypped by Microsoft that they really did not seem to be spending the kind of time that they were spending on Xbox on PC,
Yeah.
to support support PC players.
Yeah.
And so I think really it's just we're gonna see some of these games I think in the future that are gonna be more PC style games like this coming to the Xbox, but they won't be coming day one anymore. Like Halo, the Halo Wars games and things like that. Like those I feel like came to Xbox and PC fairly, you know, around the same time. And I don't think that we're going to see that kind of stuff happen as much.
Yeah.
Which is fine because, a majority of people do play, games on the PC. Like there's still a lot of games that people play on PC. So
Yeah.
I get it. Like, and I'm not mad because it's just Microsoft trying to say, hey, that we are going to try to do things differently here, and we hear your voices on PC as well, and we'll try to make this up to you. So because I'm fine with waiting. As much as I wish that I could play it right now, it's, as long as I know that it is going to be an option, I'm fine with that,
Mm-hmm.
and like, other than talking about it, and I'm not one who really has a problem with hearing about stuff about a game before it comes out or before I get the chance to play it. It's not ruining anything for me. It's, like, it's, if anything, it's just making me more excited to play it. So as far as that stuff goes, like, if you don't, like, you don't want to get it on PC, and you do want to wait for Xbox, and you don't like to hear people talk about stuff, or possibly ruin something, then I just say, just stay away from it, and you should be fine. But like I said, I've been watching streams of it and stuff, and I've been enjoying it. Like, I love how they still were able to bring everything that is Gears into it and make it have, not feel forced.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love the whole idea of you being able to kind of set up your moves and all that stuff ahead of time, and they kind of encourage you to combo certain things. And, like, I love that you still have to do your chainsaw kills, or you have to still shoot them if you want to finish them off, because you still down enemies just like in the regular game. You don't always kill them right away. You have to do your chainsaw moves, and sometimes your chainsaw moves will, if you do that, it will encourage you to get another move before your turn's up, or whatever, things like that. Like, comboing helps you get more options and stuff like that, I've heard. So
yeah, and getting executions allows you to have an extra action point. It encourages you to kind of be aggressive as long as you're smart about it. Plus, like, after you get, like, ability points and stuff that you can feed into your characters, as well as, like, the weapons have upgrade trees, the characters have upgrade trees, the attachments have upgrade trees. Everything has, like, an upgrade tree to the point where it's like I said, it's pretty overwhelming. They did not take this lightly. Like, when they said Gears Tactics was coming, I was kind of expecting a Halo Wars type approach to it, where, like, for all intents and purposes, Halo Wars is a pretty simple RTS. It's awesome on console, right? It controls well. It's a great RTS, but it's relatively simple compared to, like, StarCraft or Age of Empires or Warcraft. I was expecting them to take that approach to Gears Tactics, and they went the opposite route. They definitely went the XCOM route, and we're like, let's let everybody customize anything they want, everything they want, and let's just do it.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. I can't wait to play more.
What's funny though is that, XCOM had came out with like the opposite version of their games normally, and now it's like this game just makes that game just seem like Mario Rabbids. Which is fine. Like, honestly, there's you can have love for both games. I'm not trying to put it down in any way, but it's just like, it's just kind of, they picked the wrong time in being trying to be competitive to go with a much more, like, lighter version of an XCOM game when being compared to Gears Tactics, where it's like, but who knows? Then again, maybe they may have known something, and they were like, hey, we can come out with a lighter version of our game right now, because then that will, like, people can play both of them and not feel like it's just more of the same.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just kind of funny that those games came out so close to one another, but the XCOM one was a very light version of what they normally would do.
Yeah.
So
but I'm really enjoying Gears Tactics. I will probably try to play more before we record Arsenal X. But the last game I've been playing is I've been sucked right back into Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I went through and I had enough Microsoft points from GamePass quests to get the Origins, the Assassin's Creed Origins season pass. So like, I'm gonna try to 100% both games before Valhalla comes out. And I know that kind of sounds like I'm probably gonna get burned out on Assassin's Creed, but like, they're so different. Like, to me, they're like just different. Yeah, they both say Assassin's Creed in the title, but one, you're like an aggressive kind of magi, where you're just kind of like, policing ancient Egypt, and like the characters are different. The fighting is different, even though like the button layout's the same, but like they're different games. And I think, with what we talked about earlier, Valhalla really being a new way to play these types of games too is I think it's going to be a totally different type of experience. So I've re-downloaded all the Assassin's Creed games, because I think, in my head, I would like to do some sort of feature on them on Boss Rush games, but I don't know if I'll have the time or the patience to sit down and actually do it. But at this point, at this point, I did download them, so.
Yeah, that would be quite the time dedication to do something like that.
Well, the first game, to 100%, the first game is only like 15 hours.
Yeah,
which is, I'm like 5 or 6 hours into Odyssey right now, and I haven't even left the first island yet. So
yeah,
I haven't even seen the title screen yet, because the title screen doesn't happen until you leave the first island. And you can leave the first island at like level 3, but I'm level 7 or 8 now, because I've been doing all the side quests and looking for all the hidden treasures and stuff. So I don't know, man. I've just been really sucked back into that, and I know I'm like, when did Oblivion come out? Like 12 years too late, 15 years too late to the. I'm really into open world RPG stuff, but like, between Odyssey, Origins, and The Witcher, like, I'm really into open world RPGs right now. And like, I'm hoping Zelda doesn't come out till next year now, because I really want to play Valhalla, and I want them to be spaced out. So.
Part of me, like, because I used to love like that, like that kind of stuff a lot too, and part of me wishes that there was some form of or some way that I could get back into it again. I just don't think I could, but like, I loved playing Elder Scrolls Online for a little while there on Xbox. Like, I was literally like one of those people who would be jumping into it every single day, trying to do stuff on it when it first came out. And part of me misses that world, but like, I'm like, I didn't do much of anything of the initial release of it, let alone all the expansions and things that have come out since the last time I've played it. So I would be so lost. It's probably completely a different game. That would be kind of fun to go. Maybe I will just fire it up one day just to see like how confused I'll be just trying to go into it and be like, what is this? Where where am I? Like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah. I've been I also like a game like that for me was Destiny for a long time,
Yeah,
where like I played it like every day for like I don't know however long people play Destiny for, and like
yeah,
I I jumped back into Destiny this week as well just to figure it out, and it's so much cleaner. Like they separated all the quests by expansion now,
okay, yeah,
and then if it's a main quest or a side quest or an exotic weapon quest, like they set it's so clean, and you can read it and figure out what you're doing now. It's so awesome. Like it
yeah,
made me like just the menu setup alone made me want to go back into Destiny. I'm like, okay, this is set up more like a checklist now, and I can just go in and do like the different checklist type things. And
yeah,
oh yeah, I didn't do this quest on this character, so I can go finish this quest and clean up, you know, some of these, vanilla Destiny quests or some of these
yeah.
Forsaken quests or the Shadowkeep quests. So it's just
Hmm.
really nice to see that. Or it has it set up to where like oh, these are exotic weapon quests. I can kind of set these up to go find these exotic weapons now, and it was really interesting to see. Plus, like the Guardian games are going on right now, which is like their Olympic style thing, to celebrate
Yeah.
the Olympics that aren't happening this year because of Corona. But yeah, it was really fun to jump back into that too. I only played for like an hour, but
Yeah, that's another game I need to get back to too, but I'm kind of waiting when we have time where me and you can kind of jump into it a little bit
yeah,
because again, I just like I love that game, but it's just for me, it's a more social game.
yeah. No,
Um,
I totally agree because like I always feel like I want to play Destiny, but then I play it by
yeah,
myself and I'm like, oh yeah, I want my friends to play with.
yeah. So we'll have to maybe try to schedule something
Yeah,
or
it's
plan something that we can try to get to that because both of us obviously want to
yeah, and
and yeah because
and I know
like
my friend Mitch, who I used to play with all the time, has been
yeah
bugging me to play it too,
yeah
and I'm just like,
yeah
yeah, I do want to play, and I know my friend Jesse wants to play, and we got to
yeah
get through some of the other expansion stuff, and he's one of those people where that's like the only game he'll play,
yeah
and that's
yeah
that he doesn't play video games, he just plays
yeah
Destiny,
yeah that's
and
his Madden or
yeah,
his NBA 2K or
yeah, and like
yeah
he was really into the Division for a while too,
hmm
but then like he was like, I played the crap out of the Division, and then I played the Division 2, and it just felt like more Division, and that's not. I mean, he's like, as much as I thought that's what I wanted, that's not what I wanted apparently, and I just went back to Destiny. So
yeah and I get that like um now I feel like the Division 2 is much more fleshed out and a better product since
yeah,
its release but yeah it's I can definitely it's like the first Division, remember, like once they started releasing those expansions for the first one,
hmm,
that's when people really were like, okay, now this is an amazing game right now.
yeah, and
And then people started going back.
apparently they streamlined a lot of stuff in that game too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've been thinking about popping that in too, but like all these Ubisoft games, I want to play Breakpoint, but I know they're fixing it, so like I don't want to play it right
Hmm.
now,
Yeah.
And then the Division, like they've streamlined a bunch of stuff, and I don't know. I've been thinking about jumping into these games, but then it's like, well, I want to play them with my friends, and the only time I can play is on the weekends, and
Yeah.
I haven't been awake on the weekends because of work stuff with people being out and just being tired, and like the weekend is like where I bank those sleep hours, but I know that's not
Yeah.
how sleep works, but it's I don't know, it's been a really weird time, and I would like to get into some of these games, and I just haven't because of one situation or another. I just
Yeah. Well, like I've talked with you guys there, like I would say probably within at least the next 2 weeks, um, my schedule may change to morning working mornings.
yeah,
So So there may be in the future, there may be more time for stuff at night, but again, I would be getting up, I would still have to be getting to bed at a reasonable time.
Yeah. Well, like
But
I would.
even if we get like an hour or two, that's still better than nothing. So
Yeah, like I've been last week. I think I went to bed every day at like 10:30. But I mean,
yeah.
I usually go to bed at like 11:30 during the
Hmm.
week. Because I mean that's when I play the games the most. If I do play games, is like during the week. So
Hmm.
I don't know why. Like the weekend is where I should be playing the games the most, and I don't know. Because like my wife stays up later on Saturdays, so we can
Hmm.
hang out and like
Yeah.
that. I mean, not to sound like a jerk because I'm not trying to be one, but like that's when she. I mean, that's when I would normally be playing games is when is the time she stays up later. So by the time
Hmm.
she goes to bed, like I'm tired too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense. Like I've been trying to, watch stuff and hang out with my wife on Saturdays and stuff as well. Well, the other day she was watching that. What are all those new shows now that Netflix has or whatever that are like that are basically like their version of the Bachelor and stuff,
Oh
where it's
yeah,
just a bunch of models that lose money every time they kiss or have sex or whatever. But she was watching that, and it was somewhat entertaining. I watched a little, a couple minutes of the end of the episode she was watching.
yeah,
But like I used to watch The Bachelor and The Bachelorette with my wife, but it got to a point where it was just like some of the people were just way too annoying that I just could not handle it anymore. Like it was just the people were too irritating. And
yeah,
now they've they've got it was kind of like it's that situation where you know you'll be sorry if you wish for certain things,
hmm,
and they've been trying to get these people that they think would cause drama and stuff to make the show better.
hmm,
But lately they've bitten off a little bit more than they can chew, and it's actually caused the show to be awful,
yeah,
and a lot of people have not been enjoying it.
yeah,
So yeah, it's just seems like it's gotten worse and worse, and because I'm fine with a show like that if they're gonna give me something entertaining, but
yeah.
I don't
I
know.
mean, my wife watches the same stuff. Like she watches
Yeah,
like what is it, 90 Day Fiance or something like that, or
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's just kind of like, this is like then like they got rid of one couple that like my wife really liked, and I actually like kind of liked them too.
Uh-huh.
They wouldn't re-sign them to the show because they didn't cause enough drama on the show. They were just normal people trying to be together.
Yeah, see, those are the kind of moves, in my opinion, that make like the drama that's going on a show like The Bachelor, The Bachelorette right now. Those are
Yeah.
the kind of decisions that make that kind of stuff end up happening. You've got to target all different kinds of variety of viewers if you want people to watch your show. So like that family that you're talking about, well, that was a good reason for you and your wife to want to look forward to watching that show. Well, if they're getting rid of that, now what you don't have as much things to look forward to, and it's just so dumb, like this drama stuff. Like you don't have to have drama to guarantee that the show is going to be better. There's still going to be people out there who are going to be interested in the more realistic people that they can relate to.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
it's TV for you, I guess.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's why I just stick to like my sci-fis and
yeah,
that's
that's why I just kind of like just don't. I just whatever.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
because like I had posted it on like everything on Facebook this morning because I was so excited. But like if you like shows like Stranger Things or X-Files, or like I really liked the show Bones. One of my all-time favorite shows, Xbox has the whole entire series on sale for right now, for $20. It's normally like $80 to get it, but Fringe was like one of my all-time favorite shows, and so I'm starting a Fringe binge.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's going to wrap the show. I think.
Right.
So
yeah, I think we did.
We did all.
We
of
did
it.
good.
We did it all.
We did all of it and more.
We did it without Ed. Sorry, Ed. Hope you're enjoying work. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching. Remember, you can find us live on Mixer and Twitch at Boss Rush Games Live every Saturday for Boss Rush Podcast, every Thursday for Nintendo Power Block, and every Sunday night for Arsenal X, the Xbox podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember to like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening on a podcast service, please rate and review if you can do so. Really help us out with discoverability, especially on Apple Podcasts, which is where most of the, I don't know how analytics work, but that's what helps us become more popular, I guess, is Apple Podcasts, like rating and review system. Just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Share us with your friends. We really appreciate it. Join our Discord, join our Facebook group, follow us on Twitter at Boss Rush Podcast. Jesse, where can we find you?
You can find me almost everywhere as Phantom NXS.
And you can find me at I am CorianHD on Twitter and CorianHD on Mixer. Hopefully, one of the next few days, I will be streaming some Gears Tactics, so that should be fun. Download our family of podcasts. Check out all of our content on bossrushgames.com, where you can now watch our streams live there as well. Under bossrushgames.com/subscribe, you can watch our live streams there. So I want to thank everybody so much for watching. Remember to play games and be better. And until next week, we love you.
Bye.